What's up, guys? This is Colin saying Han shot first, and you're watching Star Lores. Well guys, it's time to talk about Solo, a Star Wars story. Now I'm not gonna lie, going into this movie, I was kinda nervous. I mean, after The Last Jedi, I really didn't want to walk out of the theater feeling that same sense of disappointment. And I'm obviously not alone because a vocal minority of Star Wars fans decided to boycott this film. Now, for the record, I think that's a bit much and you guys really need to get over yourselves.
How rude!
Now, before I really get into the review, I have to tell you there is a huge character reveal at the end of this movie. It is very spoilable. I'm not going to put it in this video, but there's nothing more I want to do than discuss and dissect and just pull the whole thing apart and tell you what I think of it. I'm going to resist the urge for now, but seriously guys, it's like torture. But you know what, guys, back to the topic at hand. This weekend, I bit the bullet, I bought the ticket, I saw the movie, and you know what? It's actually pretty damn good.
I knew all along. Had to be a mistake.
I'm gonna give it a solid 4 out of 5 Wookiees. Here is my quick and dirty, spoiler-free review of Solo, a Star Wars story. Let's get things started off with the visuals. Frankly, they're stunning, they're beautiful, they're breathtaking, they feel authentic to the Star Wars universe, and honestly, that's just par for the course at this point. Whatever you think Disney may be getting wrong with the Star Wars franchise, you gotta admit, visuals ain't it. Now on to the characters. First and foremost, Han Solo, played by Alden Ehrenreich. Now if you were worried about this casting, I don't blame you. We all heard the rumors surrounding the production, the many alleged problems that plagued it, including, apparently, with Ehrenreich's acting. Now, I am happy to report that none of that is evident in the final product. Ehrenreich plays a Han Solo that is skirting the line between innovative and true to the original character. Remember, he is playing a Han Solo that is about 10 years prior to the one we meet in A New Hope, so he's a little less rough around the edges. He's a little more idealistic. He's a little more positive, whatever you want to call it. So do keep that in mind when you're going to see this film. You're not getting a carbon copy of Harrison Ford's Han Solo, nor should you be. This is a Han Solo with a little more energy, a little more idealism than we've seen before. And I like it.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Next up is the most anticipated character of this film by far, Lando Calrissian, played by Donald Glover.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
Now, for those of you looking forward to this character in particular, I think you will enjoy Donald Glover's take on Lando Calrissian. It's a little more flamboyant, a little more eccentric, a little more out there than Billy D. Williams had it, but it's still true to the original character, just like Ehrenreich's Han Solo is true to Harrison Ford's. Now, the bad news I do have for you is that there's actually not that much Lando in the movie, at least compared to what we were promised in the previews. Rounding out the OG characters is Chewbacca, who, thank God, finally gets his due in this film. Seriously, he's actually been in all 3 trilogies, and I'm really disappointed that in the new one, he's been relegated to, at best, a tertiary character. Now, I get it. Star Wars has a bloated cast at this point, and if they're not going to kill everybody off, they kind of have to push them to the sidelines. But Chewie, in my opinion, deserves more, and this film delivers on the Wookiee factor. We get to learn a little bit more about Han and Chewie's relationship, where the life debt came from, and really get to see Chewbacca as more of a character. So, Chewie, a Star Wars story confirmed? Maybe.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
Overall, I'd say with the 3 main legacy characters in this film, they innovate on them just a little bit, but stay true to the originals enough not to piss off the fans. Essentially, these screenwriters and filmmakers take some baby steps here with the characters, but more or less play it safe and keep their distance.
Keep your distance though, Chewie, but don't look like you're trying to keep your distance.
Rounding out the cast is Han Solo's grizzled criminal mentor, Tobias Beckett. He is played by Woody Harrelson, as well as crime lord Dryden Voss, played by Paul Bettany. Both are fine, if forgettable, and they serve their purpose in the movie well. Paul Bettany's character in particular is pretty forgettable, if I'm honest, but I mean, he does the evil villain crime lord job well enough, so I'm not going to complain. Woody Harrelson, on the other hand, has a bit more of a memorable role, and it gives us a little insight into why Han is the way he is in A New Hope. Let's just say Tobias Beckett has some pretty harsh lessons to teach a young Han Solo. But you know what? My favorite character wasn't actually Han, Lando, or Chewie. It was Emilia Clarke's character, Qi'ra. If you don't know already, she plays opposite Alden Ehrenreich as the female lead of the film. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I had my worries about this character. We didn't get much of her from the previews, and I was afraid she'd be relegated to the damsel in distress role. Basically just a walking plot device in human form for Han Solo to rescue. I'm really happy to report that is not the case at all. She is an interesting character in her own right, and I spent the whole movie honestly just trying to figure her out. What is her motivation? Who's she really working for? What does she really want with Han?
You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
The plot revolves around Han, Chewie, and co. on a big job to steal some hyperfuel from the Empire. Side note, what the fuck is hyperfuel and how come I've never heard of it before? Basically, they learn some harsh lessons along the way, they fall in love, they play some sabacc, win some ships, yada yada yada. At the end of the day, you got Han Solo. It's fine, honestly, and I really like that we get to see places like Corellia and Kessel, which have never been shown in the films before. Now, speaking of the plot, guys, probably my major gripe with this film is the pacing. It is lightning quick. I mean, they don't give you a chance to breathe. It's just action sequence after action sequence. Now, there is some good character building in the middle of that, but damn, I really wanted a little more time to just chill out, relax, get to know young Han, get to know Qi'ra, get to know young Lando a little bit more. I don't need to always be entertained by CGI tentacle monsters, laser blasts, and screaming Wookiees. And actually, speaking of those tentacle blasts, there is a scene in the film which I think is utterly useless and I'd love to have cut, which involves the giant space octopus squid thing you've all seen in the previews. It just feels like a 3D monster fight for the sake of having a 3D monster fight. I mean, I feel like there's a contract somewhere that says every other Star Wars film has to have a big, boring CGI set piece. It reminds me of in The Force Awakens when Han and Chewie's ship are carrying those rolling squid monsters and they get unleashed. It's just like, why does this scene exist? It doesn't really advance the characters too much. It doesn't really advance the plot too much, or at least could have been replaced by something else that did. It just seems needless.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Honestly, my favorite thing about this film is the relationship between Han and Qi'ra. In so many big blockbuster films, romantic relationships can feel forced and inauthentic. I mean, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel, I can point to a dozen movies in the past year where I've just seen a supposed romantic relationship on screen and rolled my eyes. It doesn't pull me into the movie, it does the opposite. It takes me right out. But Solo succeeds where so many of those summer blockbusters have failed, by building what I think is a very interesting, an intricate, and a believable, authentic relationship. Now, that being said, Qi'ra and Han Solo don't get a ton of screen time together, but what they have, they use very, very well. I told you earlier I spent most of the film trying to figure out what Qi'ra's deal is. Well, I spent the other half trying to figure out what would happen to her and Han. Would they stay together? Would they split? Would someone betray someone else? Who's gonna die in the end? I mean, it's obviously not Han, right? And honestly, guys, by the end of the movie, I just found myself rooting for these guys as a couple, and that is damn rare. Again, honestly, if I could change like one thing about this movie, it would be more Han and Qi'ra, more insight into their relationship, and maybe less CGI monsters. Now, at the end of the day, guys, you want one question answered. Should you spend your hard-earned money and go see this in theaters, or just wait for the Netflix and join the boycott crowd? Honestly, if you're a Star Wars fan with an open mind, go see it. It's really, really good. Don't let the negativity that surrounds the franchise right now pull you in. And at the very least, it's gotta be better than The Last Jedi. Am I right? Okay guys, that about does it for my quick and dirty, spoiler-free review of Solo: A Star Wars Story. Let me know in the comments if it helped you make your decision to see the film, or if you've already seen it, if you agree with my review or not. And if you did like the video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and consider hitting that subscribe button. Until next time guys, this is Colin for Star Lords, saying may the Force be with you.